see if I can do this shit here. Kind of driving, but okay. So responding to comments, putting those on notice whom try to deceive me. Terms plus contract in description. I wanted to write more there, but I ran out of characters. They're only allowed like 100 on YouTube. Anyone, feel free to write me any comment or question, and I will respond, and I will leave you anonymous. And I'm sincere about that, right? All the shit I said in my last video and this video that I'm reading the description from is only for people who may have the intention of trying to fool me, harm me, mislead me, deceive me, curse me, psychic attack me, whatever. All that shit. Once again, the thought form is going to be the judge. My subconscious is going to be the judge. If you meet any of that criteria, because we're all connected through our subconscious. So if you send me a comment and your comment means something other than your actual fucking meaning or your intentions, well, that's when he's coming to pay you a visit. And I'm not even going to say what the hell it's going to do. But that's what that's for. Now, I don't want to discourage anybody from sending me comments. In all honesty, like, the more comments, the better. I love when people ask me questions or comment. I feel the need to stress and, well, first of all, I want to teach about contract law. I want to teach about contracts and consent and all that. And because to have a two-party agreement or contract, both parties have to give consent. And if you don't freely give your consent, and a person can prove that, the other person can prove that they gave you their consent under duress or they were forced into it, well then, the contract is not binding. You have to prove that it's not binding. And when it comes to verbal contracts, written contracts and all that, this is why I've clearly, this is why I'm reading this is why I've clearly stipulated the conditions and the criteria that has to be met. Alright, sorry about that. My wife called to tell me a story about a couple of people that, everybody was just waiting for them to get their karma. And by everybody, I just mean like a bunch of the baseball moms and dads. Anyways, they just got some of their karma, got videotaped it, fucking being mean to a bunch of kids. And doesn't matter. Anyways, so, yeah. I clearly stipulate the conditions and criteria that has to be met under, because if you're going to come on my channel and you're going to comment, and my subconscious is going to be the judge, and he knows more than I can, because all I can do is insinuate if you're being sincere or not. Like an example of the other person that messaged me, the Mika Vlog PC, I kind of feel bad about some of the shit I said, because they seem like a sincere person. I just found it very odd, strange, and, the fact that the things they were saying are very similar to what the other person was saying. All these comments are coming on the same fucking channel, or all over the same show, and whatever the case is. I actually got one today saying, I plead the blood of Jesus Christ, which is fine. I've had many conversations with the man that sent that message. I mean, if you're going to if you believe in Jesus, and you want to plead the blood of Jesus Christ, like plead the fifth, or, then that's fine. Own that shit. But show me that you fucking truly believe in it, and that's truly going to save you. And, that's the power of belief systems. But don't half-ass it, or if I say something, take it back. I guess, I don't know. Anyways, but I was taking this opportunity to teach about contract, consent, what I learned from Freighter from his morning video, and then doing research on, contracts and legally binding and all that bullshit. I was going to finish reading this because I don't end up doing this all audio. But where the fuck was I? Okay. Alright, however, when some people are clearly playing games or are working against me, and I'm no longer... it's too hard to fucking read this while I'm driving, to be honest. If I can get her to fucking say it, I will. Maybe I'll copy and paste it after. But all this is to say is, if you look at the contract plus consent that I put in the description of my previous video, there'll be a little bit there that you might, depending on where you are, you'll be able to see how these things are made. Watch the video by Freighter Xavier where he goes into why he wrote the things he wrote, whatever the case is, and, I'm going to turn this on the video so I can talk a little bit more, because once again, like when I looked at the other person, they've been on YouTube since I think either 2016 or 18, so they seem like a real profile, unlike the one that was just created on December 2020. Now, that doesn't mean they're not somebody who was approached, asked to message me or whatever, or is trying to pretend they're on my side and not. I don't know. And this is why I don't want to be the one interpreting these things, because I don't want to be the one who gets mad at potential people that are just subscribing and are trying to be honest with me and tell me what they think is going on with them. I don't want to be an asshole to these people. So I'm going to set this criteria, and I don't want anybody to be scared. If they are sending me a sincere question that, is sincere, because even if your question asks me something which isn't the true meaning of your question, but the true meaning of your question isn't to deceive or harm you or anything like that, well, then nothing's going to happen to you. You know what I mean? It's only for the people that decide to send me a message that are otherwise trying to either set me up, deceive, harm, fucking all the things I wrote in there. I didn't get to that part yet, but I'm slowing down, so maybe I'll be able to here in a second. I'll add a little more light, make it easier. Sorry, everybody. Getting off the highway now, so this might be a little easier to read. Looks like it's a fucking stop sign. Okay. There's nobody behind me either, so that might work. Okay. Some people are clearly playing games or are working against me if I'm no longer only going, sorry, I'm trying to stop here. No longer only going to point it out, but if they continue, they are freely giving me their consent. And when two or more parties give consent or agree, they can enter in a contract. I am putting certain commenters on notice and issuing a warning to those commenting on my videos. Anyone commenting with intentions to trick. Oh, I gotta go. I can't stay here any longer. Car's coming. Alright, I'll have to do this after. Sorry, everybody. I tried. Alright, let's do this again. Anyone feel free to write me any comment or question and I will respond. And I will leave you anonymous. However, when some people are clearly playing games and are working against me, I am no longer only going to point it out, but if they continue, they are freely giving me their consent. And when two or more parties give consent or agree, they can then enter in a contract. I am putting certain commenters on notice and issuing a warning. I'm going to change that. I am putting all commenters on notice and issuing a warning to all those commenting on my videos. Anyone commenting with intentions to trick, deceive, mislead, set up, scare, curse, harm, etc. me and my family and pets and assets. When one or all of the above mentioned criteria is present, the commenter has met conditions that determine their consent has been freely given to me and added to my consent and bind them to the terms, obligations, rights, responsibilities, restrictions, and outcomes of this contract that allows me to ... And then I give the Mind and Magic Mystery School, the warning, and the link for that. And then for some reason I felt the need to put my Spotify link on here as well. And it just brings you to my first page or my first episode. So that's the rest of the contract. I believe that's on. It's dark as fuck. Alright, that's better. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Okay, so I was just saying a little bit of audio there. Just trying to read my fucking contract just to get it out there in my own words with a bit of my interpretation, but it was way too hard. I think it wouldn't be that hard reading it, the font and the letters are very small on the YouTube description, at least where I was. I will finish reading that up and interpreting that at some other point. But once again, this video that I'm making right now is just to, at the moment anyways, who knows what I may talk about, but I just want to maybe close up ideas or maybe help some people understand, like, in case they don't understand what the fuck I'm trying to get at, which is very likely because I'm very all over the place and talk fast. I don't finish ideas. I'm not, but I'm trying, working on that. Anyways, So the only people that have to worry is anybody. I mean, they don't even have to worry. It's just they don't believe in what I'm doing. But if your intentions are to fucking trick, fool me, try to set me up, deceive, fucking curse, whatever, any of those things that you're trying to do, that's flagged by the thought form, which, I've been programmed with my subconscious mind, and my subconscious mind is going to be ruling that fucking thought form. I'm not going to get into all that, but if it gets flagged that, you don't have your intentions or whatever, because even if your intentions are clearly played out, that, you know what, Corey, I hate your videos, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, that's not what I'm attacking, that's okay, that's your opinion, and your opinion was fucking clear. Just like, hey, I like your stuff, but I don't really understand your last video, can you clarify it further, or hey, I've been having a hard time with this. All these things won't be flagged, straight up. You say, hey, you're a fucking piece of shit, and I hope you die. That's fine too, I mean, that's not going to be flagged. It's only those who say one thing, but truly meaning another thing, and not like in the sense of, you ask a question if manifesting money is really of the devil, or if it's something that everybody should know how to do. And that's your question, but what you're really asking is something similar, but isn't exactly the same words that you just said. I'm having trouble fucking trying to explain that. Alright, let's say, okay, magic is of the devil, creating wealth. Maybe your underlying question means, the underlying question is asking if magic is of the devil or if it's really spiritual, or you're using money as an example, something like that. That won't be flagged either, because it's not like you're being deceptive and trying to harm or mislead me or like that. You're trying to ask a question, and maybe you don't want to really see the real nature of your question or whatever, but the intention wasn't to deceive, harm, or set me up. All you're doing is, potentially, your question is just means something other than it might mean, and that's all up to the interpreter, right? So that's why consent and contract, you have to clearly define the conditions. Like if I was to just write on that, okay, if I was just to write anybody trying to fuck me over and write comments, and these comments are misleading or trying to harm me, well, that makes you in a contract with me. And then once you're into a contract with me, I'm allowed to take your soul. Well, that could work, depending on the other person's belief. If the other person did 5 minutes of research and looked up consent, contract, and all the laws, verbal agreements and all that, they would see that you have to mutually and freely come into a contract. Or come to an agreement before you can have a contract, which is where consent plays into it. So your consent has to be given. Now, where some of the gray area is, and what most people think is Illuminati and elites, but just is people that know these laws versus people that don't, where the gray area comes in is how consent is given. So you have to freely give your consent, but they don't say or determine exactly how consent can or cannot be obtained. So when a cop, for example, when a cop is interviewing you, trying to get you to admit to a crime, they're trying to get you to say yes. If you give out a hypothetical story, which is how you think the murder was laid out, and then after all that, they look at you, and they don't say yes, or that's true, or that's how I did it. They say exactly. Okay? After you did. That can be considered, not necessarily consent in this case, but agreeing and omission by forget the name of it. Anyway, but there's many ways that people can achieve your consent. So you have to know what determines consent. Not only that, but if I'm the one creating a contract with somebody, I mean, I can put it very small, but for the contract to be illegal, I can't just say, okay, I have a contract here, I'm not going to tell you what makes you in consensual agreement with me, and therefore we enter a contract, and therefore you have met all the criteria, therefore my responsibility once you meet all this criteria is to do this, okay? And I'm not going to tell you all those extra details. Well, then odds are you're not going to consensually agree to it, and I mean, that wouldn't be legal, right? People have to know what they're signing up for. You can hide it within jargon, and you can tell them, here's all the information, I'll let you read it right now if you choose to. Most people will say no, but by saying no, they're still agreeing to it, because you allow, give them the time. You know what I mean? So you might say, when you read my contract, you might say, well, I don't consent to any of that. But that's not exactly how my particular contract was written. This is my channel. I created this channel. This doesn't go for every fucking channel on YouTube. This goes for anybody who's viewing my channel and comments on my channel. I have now just defined what are the conditions for you to be giving your consent to me freely when you decide to comment and your intentions are of a baneful nature, yet you're hiding it. So there has to be that deception there. That's one of the criteria. So if you're just being baneful and saying, I'm throwing fucking curses at you, asshole, you're not going to get any attention from my thought form from that. It's only for the people that are fake, that are two-faced, that are hypocrites. I'm tired of that shit. That shit needs to be stamped out. That shit's what's wrong with the world. If people weren't fucking fake and hypocrites and all that shit, well, I wouldn't say we wouldn't have half the problems, but man, shit would decrease. And there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in the world today. I feel kind of fucked up even talking about this, but I don't think there's any way in hell I'm going to comment on what's been going on in DC and all that shit, because I don't even know where to start. I mean, people are polarized for or against, and I get it. This is their country, this is their political system. So for them to not choose a side they pick or they agree with, to just say, well, you shouldn't choose either side, is easier said than done sometimes, because, you know, one of these sides are going to have control, so you want a side that you think is more, represents you more, and I get that. It just sucks whenever we can tell that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's none of my business whenever I'm from Canada and this is happening in the United States. It's kind of like my point right now. But that being said, the point of my show right now is to teach about consent contract and to get those who have hidden meanings to their comments and then ulterior motives and intentions and are trying to bait or, you know, set me up, like I said. Well, they're gonna see what happens when that shit happens. You know, the guy has said, I plead the blood of Jesus Christ. I don't know his intentions completely, but it's very clear there. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in your fucking laws, and even though you might be, I mean, this is me fucking really speculating, but it's like, even though you may have done the contract correct, or it seems like it's abiding by all the rules of consent contract, I'm not bound by your magical laws, because I believe in Jesus Christ, and in the Bible it clearly says magic is to be avoided, or whatever else, which it doesn't say, but, you know, this person's intentions are very clear, and his thoughts and everything is clear, so nothing happens to somebody who means what they say. So when someone doesn't mean what they say, or even worse, are trying to trick and deceive, you know. All war begins with deception, or the art of war. You know what I mean? Read that book and you'll learn a lot. But so that's what I'm trying to stamp out. And it's just to, you know, is karma something that bounds us, or if we sometimes become not above karma, because you're never above the law of cause and effect, but you can reach to a certain understanding and back away and depolarize yourself from that, from, you know, the two poles of cause and effect, and then you can see it's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's my job to send people karma, but if someone is doing something on my channel, getting away with it, or they perceive they're getting away with it, and I don't do anything about it, well, I'm not going to wait for a hypothetical God or law of karma to come into effect for someone sending me a comment when they're hiding their intention. You know what I mean? You can say, well, no, karma will get them. If their true intention is to mislead you or send a curse at you, whatever the case is, and, you know, they're hiding it and being fake, well, then they're going to, they'll get karma. They put some emotion. It's like, yeah, maybe, or maybe it's my job to dish out the karma in this case, because, you know, there's a law that also says, he who will be fooled, let them be fooled. So, and I don't want to be fooled. And I don't think I am well-rounded enough to be a judge for anything. Say, okay, well, these ones are okay and these ones aren't. No, I got bias, I got whatever, blinders. I don't see these people. I don't even see a profile picture. I don't have conversations with them. So how the fuck do I know if they're being true or not? That doesn't mean I still don't want to stomp out anybody trying to fuck with me or trick me. So this is what I'm doing to avoid that and sidestep it all and not have to worry about it. So there you go. That was the reason for all that. And once again, the person, the Mika Vlog PC, judging by their account, they're an actual person and not a fake profile. And when I say the other one commented as an actual person, right, it seems more likely that they're like a fake fucking profile. And so fuck that shit. But yeah, anybody who's actually being sincere, see, like I can't tell. They send me that one comment saying, tell Thunder Wizard that Odin said you're a coward because of, and talks about Satan, or whatever the case was, right? And that seems like, okay. I mean, I thought it was a little fuckers are telling me that, not Thunder Wizard, but maybe they did. Maybe they're blocked on Thunder Wizard's page, so they can't, so they're trying to do it on my page. But if they're trying to get me to say something to Thunder Wizard, whether or not they're actually against Thunder Wizard and just wants to see me attempt or try to rip them apart, or it's to get me to take the bait, say that to Thunder Wizard, and then Thunder Wizard rip me apart. The point is, it's like, well, do your own dirty work, no offense. I mean, I don't mind that opinion, and, and telling me what you think, telling me that, your opinion of what Thunder Wizard, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's cool. I don't mind that. I'm not mad at that. Your opinion about what you think about Thunder Wizard, if what you said is true, then, yeah, you would be a fucking coward. But once again, it's like, why are you sending that comment to me? Why are people just dumping these random comments on mine? And I know my video's titled Psychologically Dissecting the Thunder Wizard. And that's the problem with the written word, right? You don't know where someone's coming from, in what tone, or what manner, what perspective they're saying it from. Are they saying it from an angry place, a funny place, sarcastic place, you know what I mean? It's kind of the issue. One of the issues. So, but, I'm not mad at what that person said. And then after that, when it says, sorry, you're right, I was still under the spell. So that tells me that the first comment had a little bit to do with attacking me. And then, a serpent beguiled me. My serpent beguiled me. So, you know what I mean? It's like, well, what the fuck? So that's why I kind of went off a bit. So if the person who said those comments is listening and they didn't mean anything, whatever, then you have nothing to worry about. And, my apologies. But I still don't know where all these things are coming from and what's the nature of them. So, I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Hey, okay, I'm back. Hopefully this thing will keep fucking recording. Okay, so a lot of open-ended things there. Just listen to what I just recorded so far, and I didn't finish a lot of thoughts. So hopefully they all come back to me and I can wrap them up in a nice bow. Before I go any further, we got a very nice comment today. Made my fucking day. I love seeing shit like that. It's on an older video, but before I promote and save whatever we said there, because I don't want to. I only try to bring light to the ones I think are deceiving me, right? I like saying what people wrote me, whatever, but yeah, it was fucking sweet as hell. It was awesome. I love fucking people that send me kind words and say, whatever. So yeah, I was, in case you didn't think I saw your comment yet, and I didn't reply, just because I've been really busy. I'm on my way home now, and I mean, you'll probably see my reply before this video even gets released, but you'll know why it took me so long to reply before then. But yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you. I love your kind words. They made my day. I felt sort of smiling after that. Things were going a little rough this morning, work-wise. We're having a lot of issues there on site. I worked them out, and everything got a lot better after your comment. So, as within, so without. I was happy, and then shit worked out after. Thanks to you. So, once again, thank you. And I'll definitely take you up on what you said. So, but yeah. Anyway, so back to consent and contract a little bit. So, I was talking about consent at one point. Well, a little bit about all of this. So the lesson in consent contract, this is a two-way street. So for you to make agreements, if you ever have to do something similar to what I'm doing, once again, like, I don't think someone sending a comment that you don't know what the fuck they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to set you up, but it's a gray area, right? So within themselves, they have a moral compass, and if they feel like they're on the opposite side of that moral compass, like they're doing something wrong, well, then there's a good chance that they will receive some actions for that. The reason I said, if someone straight up tells me they're cursing me or they hate me or whatever the case is, well, they're sending out negative energy. That I already don't have to worry about, because anytime someone sends fucking, not negative energy, negative is the wrong word, but negativity and harmful energy, harmful intent, harmful thoughts, harmful actions, anytime someone does that towards me, I don't gotta worry. I've already seen that shit in action in the physical world when Buddy fell off a fucking 10 step, okay? And I've seen the way he's been acting around me, and he doesn't know per se, but it's like there's a part of him that understands a little bit about it now, and he's fucking eased the fuck up. So, you know, so I'm not worried about anybody saying that shit. Like, I mean, as much as I wouldn't like seeing comments like that, saying that I fucking hate you and go to hell or whatever the case is. I'm cursing you and all that, throwing on you every chance I get, asshole. That they're gonna harm themselves by doing it, you know. And any smart attacker, if they are a smart attacker, would not announce their attack and let the person prepare for it, you know. So that's another reason why it's like these people that are being deceptive and sending me these messages to bait or cause a reaction, and maybe whatever the case is. It's foolhardy, you know. They think they're playing this game, this deceptive game, but I mean, unless they're very, very sly and have been doing this for a while, which might be the case, and which might be why it's time for someone to say, you know what, before it gets too far that they can't even see the karma they're receiving for these acts, so they think these acts are okay, right? They justify it in whatever way in their head. Well, maybe they need something a little more quicker. I got to be the person that does that in a manner that doesn't affect me or my cause and effect, right? Because the way I'm setting this up is the way Frederick Xavier set it up. Frederick Xavier believes in the win-win situation, okay? But when people are straight up hating on you, deceiving you, trying to send you messages, acting like they're trying to help you, but really they're trying to get in your head, trying to scare you, trying to do whatever the case is, right? Talk a big game, but there's nothing there. Well, these type of people, you want them to learn their lessons. The best way for them to learn their lessons is to get their own energy, their own shit shot back at them. How am I going to know if that's what's happening unless I set something up that can tell me that, yeah, this person's not sincere, this person doesn't have your intentions at heart, this person is really mistaken, whatever. That might be the only job I gave this thoughtful was, well, it's not done yet, but it will be soon. But that might be the only job I gave this software, was to just report back and tell me true intentions of the nature. Or it might have been to, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point is, understanding consent, how you consensually agree into contracts, is uber important for a lot of different things in today's day and age. So, all that said, the way I set it up was, specific criteria has to be met, and because it's my channel, because you come on my channel free of your own choice, of your own free will, okay? You're freely watching my videos. You are freely looking up or commenting on my videos of your own nature, and you're allowed to do that, and that's allowed. YouTube allows you to comment. It's my choice to accept or not accept comments, and I'm accepting comments. But I've also added a new stipulation in there that I'm allowed to do. This is my channel, I'm allowed to set these rules. So on my channel, if you're going to send me a message, and you decide to try to deceive, trick, harm in any way, shape, or form, well, with the criteria being a hypocrite, you know, two-faced, pretend to be my friend and not be my friend, all that shit, then that's how you give me your consent for me to also consensually enter into an
agreement that says that if you are doing things, if you are being two-faced, working against me, then pretending to work with me, well, we now have an agreement that anybody who does that, I am allowed, free from karma, free from any penalties, because you knew what you were signing up for, free from any penalties, I am allowed to send my fucking thoughtform, my servitor, at your fucking house, at your doorstep, where it needs to go, to teach you this lesson. And if you don't want that, well, then stop sending me the fucking comments. If you don't believe that, feel free to fucking try it out. This is what I'm doing. So, I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's when the person decides to deceive me that they are doing the wrong actions. Now, in their mind, they might not think they're doing anything wrong, therefore there may not be karma for it. If karma solely goes by our moral compass and says what's right or wrong, if there isn't no, it's very hard to paint it right and wrong. I mean, yeah, killing people for no reason is definitely wrong. Innocent people dying because of some other shit is wrong. We know that. And what is right? Well, right is helping. What is good? Helping people regardless of, any gains or anything like that. We can figure out what the extremes are. But it's whenever you're coming to the minimal part, okay? So where is it where this is bad? Where does bad start and good stop? Because those fucking things are going to be so damn close you won't be able to recognize it. And that's when circumstance comes into play. So when you think about karma and under those conditions, then it makes it very messy. And I think to a certain extent, we have these rules in place. We have these laws within our realm that allow us to dish out karma without getting any karma. This is one of those fucking ways. I can simply bind these fuckers up, which is part of that. Binding them via a contract. Binding them. But, you know what I mean? So, all that's to say is this is really fun. I'm not even looking at me. Shit, you see my face. I hate when I do that. I feel bad too. There's something. Okay. All this is to say that this is the point of this. It's not to be an asshole. It's not to do whatever. It's really not to stop this comments from coming in because I think they're kind of funny. But I mean, I am, from what I can tell, to the best of my ability, I am trying to provide a service and I'm trying to help people. When other people have different opinions of how people should be helping people or what's right or wrong or their pastor or their parents or their society taught them that the stuff I'm talking about is wrong and they never tried it and they don't have any clue and I'm not harming anybody anyways, they feel the need to come on here and try to set me up for whatever reason. It's like, no, I'm not going to have that. And clearly so far, by putting out the information and, dissecting their comments and, poking a little bit of fun, hasn't had any effect to stopping it. So, I'm going to go this route. Sorry, I'm pretty tired. And, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. It's nothing against anybody. I don't want anybody to think that they can't fucking comment anymore. Anything like that, the more comments the better, seriously. You want to know more about consent contract, let me know. I don't know everything about it, but I know physical laws and what binds people within contracts within our realm. And those things work in the spiritual realm as well. Why? Because they're in the collective. We're almost all bound by contracts every day. This car I'm driving, I had to sign a contract. When I started working, I signed a contract. My house, my mortgage, I signed a contract. When I got married, I signed a contract. Contracts bind us in everyday life. So for anybody to think, well, there's no contracts in spirituality, oh baby, you are mistaken. Now, in a perfect world, maybe we shouldn't need contracts to bind anybody in spirituality. I'd be willing to say that and go that far, but we're not in a perfect world. Recent events have shown that. And, a lot of this comes back to polarity. So the polarity battles we're seeing happening in the States right now, that's a big part of why I have to do what I have to do right now. Since people are polarized either for or against me, and they're trying to find ways to bring me down or whatever the case is. It's like if they were to just depolarize themselves, they would see and be able to fix their life, and but they can't do that. They have been programmed to be triggered by the shit that I say in our society. It's like, well, you keep doing that, but if you're not going to wake up anytime soon, well, maybe I'll send something to force you to wake up. And not against your own will. I determined that if you are going to do these actions, well then that means you're giving me your consent to fucking unleash this on you. I'm not going to unleash this on anybody. But the people I will unleash it on are the people that come looking for it. And how do you consensually enter my agreement that says that you're coming looking for it by your own free will? By being deceptive, pretending you're on my side, or pretending you're against me, or any kind of, well, if you pretend to be against me or you're really on my side, I don't think that'll, maybe though, maybe I have to re-look at the terms that I was going to use to define this, just to make sure. But somebody who's trying to operate against me, pretending to be my friend, you know, friends close to grand enemies closer, that kind of fucking dealio. That kind of fucking thing happens. God, I hope I'm getting all this audio. Then that's when this is going to happen. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. I haven't had a chance to read the whole contract yet, but basically states all the ways you enter consensually into this agreement. And I haven't stated, it's not a complete contract at this moment, because I haven't completely stated what happens when you enter this agreement. That's because I haven't finished it yet, I'll be honest. I'm not there yet. So now's your time to comment, be deceiving if you want to. I'm trying it out, and it's going to be pretty fucking telling if you decide to do it now, but it is as it is. Like, that's the beauty of this way. You set the standards, you set the fucking bar, you set the criteria and the conditions, and if someone deliberately enters into this agreement after they've been put on warning or notice. Now, the minute I can, I get a laptop going, because I don't have a computer or a laptop I can use right now, so I can change my YouTube's first video. I'm not sure how to do that from the mobile fucking app, fucking whatever. But it's going to be this warning on there, so that anybody who comes onto my page gets it from there. Because you can easily, a lot of people can say, well, I didn't know you gave me this notice. Whose fault is that? But that's the beauty of this. People are consensually giving me their consent, and they don't even know it. And when they do that, it allows me to basically do whatever I want. So basically, that's the other reason I haven't finished my contract yet. The contract I want to finish it off with, I have the option to do many things. So I'm going to have many things listed that we consensually agree that I have now the rights and responsibility to dish out karma, I guess. I can do it out of one, or let's say it's 5 ways in total. 1 out of the 5 or all 5 ways, I can choose to dish that out to you. Leave it up to me. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't completely done anything like that yet, due to the fact that I want my divine, I want my mind, I want my subconscious, I want the divine, leaving things up to the divine, the universe, okay? And I'm just setting the tone. The universe speaks for me, speaks for everybody else. All those people leaving comments, and they're speaking on behalf of the universe. They don't know it, they're speaking on behalf of the universe. Polarized view of the universe, but still, they're part of God just like everybody else. They're part of the Godhead just like everybody else. They're part of this universe just like everybody else. And ultimately, I want them all to fucking grow up and fucking become enlightened. Or at least grow up and realize that what I'm teaching is meant to try to help and not try to deceive or bring people to the dark, quote-unquote, dark side. None of that's fucking accurate. All I want to do is help people fucking advance. So I can either help them in the way that I give out information for those seeking it, and those who aren't seeking it come on my channel just to fucking deceive and be rotten or whatever the case is. Well, I can help them by giving them a thought form to give them a kick in the fucking ass. So, like I said, that's the beauty of this. They enter it, and I set the terms. This is how you consensually agree to it. And they can choose to not consensually agree to it. And most people's pride will get in the way, like, oh yeah, fuck him, he's not powerful. And they're just going to lock themselves into this and have to stop going with them for, who knows, months, years, decades, until they reach a certain point. And that's what I'm going for. So it's like, until the person reaches this point, you fucking stay on. And the thing that's going to fuel this thought form will probably be, I don't know, fear. The minute this person is nothing but love, or maybe the person is polarized. So the thought form can feed off their polarity. It doesn't matter which polarity it is, feed off their polarity. Polarity is energy too, it's electricity as well. Feed off their polarity, And once this person is as depolarized as they can be, then your job is complete. Because then they can't, which is a win-win, because if this thought form can't get food, well, you might. But that's the thing. I got to be responsible with it, because this thought form needs polarity to feed, right? And this person starts becoming depolarized, or trying to be, and this thing needs to feed. Well, then it might start evolving into this being that keeps this person in polarized circumstances, so that it can keep feeding, so it can stay alive. You know what I mean? And then I would get karma, because now I created something, sent it to somebody because of something specific. Now they become depolarized, yet my thought form is still there, making them polarized. So they are trying to break out of that, and I'm middle of the way. This is why you gotta think long and hard before you do something like that. But nonetheless, kill coach, just in case I start thinking things happen, things bad happening, I'm getting bad fucking karma happening to me, and I don't know why. Well, kill coach, kill them all off, and then I start from scratch. But these are all the things you got to think about. If you're gonna just try to make a fucking thought form because you got the basics down, you know how to create one, and you're not gonna put too much thought into it just to get it out there fast, well, that means you're probably not ready, because you want to be depolarized. You want to have people's intentions at heart. I mean, if you decide to make a thought form to go get your fucking money, right? Well, as long as you give it a kill code, you give it a food source, you don't give it any fucking physical ties to you, and you give it a place to live, fucking name, primary and secondary fucking programming, which means it's tasks, and something that when it reaches its task, it's done. And the option to retire it or kill it or whatever the case is, those are the basics. If it's just going out to get you money and come back, well, you know, then you should be good. But if you create a thought form to affect somebody else, that's where the danger comes in. And I am not positive if I'm ready for this step yet, just in case. But nonetheless, I feel that it's time to at least throw the dice. Because I mean, I wrote all these little fucking criterias and these things down last night. All the pros and cons, all the things I need to think about. And it's going to be a process of me over a period of time trying to think of new things that I haven't thought about over different days. Because like, I can think about fucking, let's say 100 things right now, 54, 50 against. But tomorrow, from a different perspective, when I'm in a different mood, different feeling, different emotion, whatever the case is, I can think of another different 50. You know what I mean? So it's a good process to get into if you're going to do something as big as create an entity. I mean, that's what you're doing. When you have a baby, I mean, the thought forms a far cry from a human being, but nonetheless, it's still something that's a created entity. It's like an artificial intelligence that we can create that will act as if it's a living being that no one can see, but it will get us results. This is what thought forms and servitors are. So you have to put just as much thought into that you would for your child, like your name, like what school, like, oh, how do I be a fucking great parent that I don't fuck up this kid? Gotta give it food, I gotta give it fucking a place to live, I gotta make sure it sleeps, I gotta make sure it's safe, I gotta make sure it doesn't harm anybody else, These same fucking guidelines you use for your thought form, you would use for your child, more or less. So, but anyways, sorry about not being able to see me. Got more room here. Alright, well, I'm going to call that a night for now, and then I'm going to try to add to this in a moment.
Okay, so in case I don't go any further, I won't say the name or what video, but wow, thank you for sharing. Honestly, I love how you authentically share your emotions and words. You're so real. Thank you for the soothing moment. Wishing you a blessed new year. Come by and say hello one of these days. I'd love to show you our latest. And so this is what I said. Yeah, well, thank you for the kind words and all that. And I'm definitely going to take you up on that the next time I'm in your area around too. This is a fellow Canadian, as far as I can tell. I subscribe to the channel she has, and I've been looking at her, the things that she offers. the products, and I gotta say it's pretty fucking cool. So expect more from me and a little bit on this holy fuck, I'm having trouble talking, sorry everybody. But anyways, I'll just stop myself there before, because I don't want to talk about anybody or say anybody's names or do anything or give anything to give anybody's identity away who doesn't want to be given away, right? And the people that send me nice comments and kind words, I don't want to piss off, anger, or put in a position that will compromise them, or whatever the case is. So that's all I'll say about that. But I just really wanted to make a public thank you to you, because I really, really do appreciate your kind words. And like I said earlier, I mean, yeah, my day kind of went the right way after getting your comment. So I thank you also for that. And I've already watched a few of your videos, and I mean, I gotta say, it's very fucking well done, beautiful music, all the things, like they're very, 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 very nice, very well done. And yeah, you can expect me to binge watch your videos. So hopefully these little angry, or these videos where I end up not being so nice to everybody, don't scare you off or make you not like my stuff anymore all that much. But every once in a while you really got to stand up for yourself, and you got to do what you think is right, even if it may not be exactly what's good. But anyways, I just wanted to add that to this, and that's probably going to be enough for today. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for whoever does subscribe and whoever doesn't and just watches this shit. But nonetheless, I really do appreciate it. Thank you all. And yeah, take a look at consent, contract, notice, warnings, and binding, and the law, legalities, all that shit. You don't want to be he who will be deceived, let them be deceived. That's a law. So I live by that law in the sense that I don't ever want to be fucking deceived. And when I think people are deceiving me, it's one of those things I casted for a long time ago, was the ability to know when I'm being deceived or not. And so anyways, that's it. Have a great day.